hit that thumbs, hit that on pill.net. Actually, if you hit that red pill, hit the red one. And if you don't like me, you can hit the blue one. There is a blue pill there. But I'm going to encourage everyone to hit the thumbs up no matter how you are watching this. Please share this video. Share this video. We are live on X American News on X as well. Share the video. Share the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Anti-Semitism. Now, this is kind of like it's not even a personal thing, but I find it interesting that there's a lot of people that call themselves conservatives and they're anti-Semitic themselves, and they call themselves conservative. I've talked about this for some time. You have people that say that they support Trump, love America, America first, and they side with Ilhan Omar, or they side with AOC, or they side with Rashida Tlaib. They side with these radical Democrats against Israel, but yet they call themselves conservatives. Today, earlier, actually before I came on, I'm kind of like going back and forth just a little bit on X. There's this lady, she said, Will, I'm assuming it's the lady. She go, Will, I've been following you for years, and I like the information that you share. I like what you've been doing. She goes, I just don't understand your stance when it comes to Israel. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I'm waiting for her to reply back, because the response that I gave to her, I said, because, and she posted this thing on there showing where Israel had this whole parade, if I can say it that way. They had this whole parade, and a lot of people don't know this. In Israel, they have one of the biggest gay parades in that region of the world, the largest actually in that region of the world. So she posted images of Israel having this parade. So my response to her was, so are you suggesting that I think that every single white person is racist because white racist Democrats enslave black people? So she hasn't responded to that question. And I wonder if y'all understand what I'm saying when I say that. Because see, these people, I don't know what it is other than Satan has convinced people to believe a certain thing about Israel. Not everybody in Israel is a liberal. Not everybody. There are some conservative Israelis. So what would it look like for Will Johnson to just do a blanket hatred for everybody in Israel, or just because they're Jewish? You know how ignorant that is? It's like I just said a second ago, how ignorant would it be for me to just look at everybody white and think of what white people did, specifically white Democrats, what they did to black people in the past, and hold it against white conservatives today? Now, I don't have any issues holding it against white Democrats because it's still the same Democrat Party. And the same Democrat Party, they're the ones that's been anti-Semitic. The same Democrat Party that wanted to enslave black people is the same Democrat Party today. So if you want to hold someone accountable for something, hold the Democrat Party. I remember when I first moved to Texas, I went down to downtown Austin, Texas, and I was asking people, do you think that the Democrat Party should apologize for slavery in this country? Do you think they should apologize for it? And a lot of people just looked at me like, well, but it wasn't Democrats that had slavery. This is how jacked up the world is, because people don't know the truth. People don't know the actual history, that it was the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party created the KKK. I mean, look it up. That's not anything I'm making up. I used to be a Democrat until God healed my mind and woke me up, and I started reading and started paying attention to what's actually going on. And then I said, I can't be a part of that. I mean, the Democrat Party is wicked. I mean, wicked. And a lot of people don't even want to acknowledge it. A lot of people don't want to see it because they like the wickedness, or they like the fact that there's someone that they've been told to dislike, aka President Trump. So they go along with it, and they don't want to leave the Democrat Party because they hate Trump more than what the Democrat Party is all about. Have y'all seen any of that? And then you have the same Democrat Party that said nothing when Jewish students were being attacked on these colleges and these universities. Said nothing. Oh, I take it back. They did say something. You know what they said? It's free speech. Oh, it's free speech. When them screaming from the river to the sea and saying Palestine will be free, which none of that is peaceful. It is not peaceful at all. Do you know what it means from the river to the sea? You know what they mean when they say that? Most people don't even know what it means when they're saying it. And even the United Nations talking about Palestine will be free. Even the anti-Israel United Nations, they don't even recognize a Palestinian state. So how does it be free? They don't even recognize it. Yes, the anti-Israel United Nation, they don't even recognize a Palestine state, but they do recognize a Israeli state. Isn't that interesting how that works out? And then, of course, I'm on there on X, of course, because you can't have some of these conversations on other platforms because they say, "Oh my goodness, you can't talk about this, you can't do that, can't do that." And they constantly talk about who's doing genocide, and they never bring up Hamas. And I'm like, what role do you think Hamas play in all of this? Do y'all just disregard what Hamas is doing? But Israel, and it's so stupid. Like yesterday, I was sitting there talking about what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, and Ukraine, they're the ones that's constantly edging this on because Ukraine, my personal opinion, they don't want it to end. They don't want it to end. They want to continue it. They want the conflict to happen, just like in Israel, the Gaza Strip. Hamas, they don't want the conflict to end. They want the conflict. It's like they need the conflict. So some people is like, well, Johnson, because your stance on Israel, I can't watch you anymore. Well, okay. I'm going to stick with the Bible. I'm going to stick with the word. And if you dislike me because I believe in God's word, then so be it. Then so be it. I have no issues with it. That's something you're going to have to deal with. And a lot of people know what I'm talking about. Because you hear about the Jewish people being in Nuttywood and the music industry and even in politics and the banking system, which is probably true. I'm not going to deny it. But am I to withhold good people that I know from Israel? Am I going to hold it against them because you have other people that's doing wicked things? Do you support Jerry Nadler? I don't support Jerry Nadler. Do you know who Jerry Nadler is? You know what his origins are? What about Shucky Ducky Schumer, Chuck Schumer? Do you know where his origins are? I mean, come on, people. Just because you have a certain group of people that's doing something or act a certain way doesn't mean all of them do. It's like pretending or having it in your mind. Well, you have a couple of black people in Chicago, Chirac, Oakland, St. Louis, New York, Miami, Dallas, Oakland, Compton, doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. This whole black fatigue. Have y'all heard about that? Black fatigue. Out there acting out, showing out. If everybody that watched Will Johnson saw me doing the same thing, you'd be like, I'm not watching this dude. He's a victim. Go out there and cause all of these problems, cause all these troubles, and then I turn around and screaming victim. You wouldn't watch me. You wouldn't care for me. But there's a lot of people that does that. And because I don't do that, you don't look at me and associate me with other black people that do. It's the same thing when it comes to the Jewish community. Why would you associate everybody in the Jewish community because you see people like Chuck Schumer, Jerry Nadler, or even Bill Maher? See, Bill Maher, sometimes the light bulb comes on with him, but then it dims right back out. So why? And Bill Maher, to my understanding, he's a full-on atheist. And did you know there's a lot of people in Israel? More than half, to my understanding. Listen, hear me. More than half, to my understanding, of the people in Israel that consider themselves Israelis are atheists. Did you know that? That's why they don't have any issues doing the whole parade thing in Israel, because they don't believe in God. And a lot of them don't believe in God because they say, well, if the Bible is true and we're the chosen people, then why is God allowing all this to happen to us? And how do I know this? I learned this years ago. But I still didn't turn my back on what the Bible says about Israel. I didn't do it because I've come to know a lot of people from Israel. And guess what? There's a lot of them that are conservative. But for some reason, these people got this deep hatred in their hearts for Israel, so they just put a whole blanket over it, all of it. And then you have people that are inside of our federal government. I just named a few. AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. They're pretty much anti-Semitic. They actually will go out and they'll advocate against Israel to be destroyed. To be destroyed. Not advocating, they don't say anything about Ukraine, which is kind of odd because a lot of people that are conservative say they try to convince me to support Ukraine because supposedly Zelensky is Jewish, but so is Chuck Schumer. So is Jerry Nadler, as I just mentioned. And there's a few other ones. But just because they are doesn't mean I need to support them. And just because they are the way they are doesn't mean I need to reject Israel. Why is this such an issue? You know why it's an issue? Because I truly believe, as I've been saying before, that we are living in the last days. We are seeing the Bible unfold right before our very eyes. And in the Bible, it tells us that in the last days that the entire world will come down on Israel. And for everyone that hates Israel and Jewish people simply because they've been told a story about a group of people, that means you. The Bible is talking about you because you are coming down on Israel. And some people are like, well, how dare you? How dare you say such a thing? Who's doing it? I'm not forcing you to do it. I'm just calling it out. But some people don't want me to say it. Some people don't want me to say it out loud. Okay, you can believe that, Will Johnson. Just don't say it, because now I'm upset with you. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. By all means. Listen to this one. This was on the Communist News Network. Prime example. And the radical left, they don't want to acknowledge that they're the ones that's being anti-Semitic. And then you even have some that goes even far and saying, oh, this anti-Semitic is created because of Trump. But listen to this clip here. Talking about Ilhan Omar. As if because Ilhan Omar was not at the colleges and universities actually physically attacking Jewish students, oh, this doesn't include her. It's not the same thing. She was one of the ones that was advocating for it. Listen to this.
I definitely think, to the congressman's point, there are specific things that are being said on these campuses that are anti-Semitic. But the idea that AOC and, I don't know, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar are engaging in those activities, I'm not sure there's a lot of evidence of that.
They spoke at the campuses.
You know what I mean?
They were there on those campuses.
Right, but I guess, but here's what I'm saying. But do you understand what I'm saying? If they show up on college campuses to protest, what's the situation in Gaza, are you saying automatically the same thing as uttering anti-Semitic words?
Yes, they're anti-Semitic. Make no mistake about it. Their words are absolutely, and this is all based in anti-Semitism.
Right, what I'm saying is, do you have evidence that they actually engaged in anti-Semitic language? That is the issue.
Supporting terrorists and
some of her past.
Are you saying? Do we have to go through the statements?
I am talking about on college campuses. Because I think that there is a difference.
The history of
protesting
is very clear.
There's a difference between protesting and saying and doing anti-Semitic things.
Would you not? Oh my goodness! Oh, there's a difference than protesting and saying anti-Semitic things. How stupid can you be? Really? What does she think they're doing when they're protesting? They're saying anti-Semitic things. Come on. Just because you're not on the college campus saying anti-Semitic things doesn't mean you're not doing it. You know what? I remember when AOC actually, it wasn't actually AOC, but Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. When President Trump was in office the first time, both Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, they had to sign like a waiver or some type of deal. I forget exactly what it was. Don't hold me to it. But I'll never forget the reason why they had to sign this piece of paper. And Nancy Pelosi at the time, she was the Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi didn't like what Rashida Tlaib was saying and Ilhan Omar, not the fact that they were anti-Semitic. She didn't care about that part. She cared because a lot of the Jewish community, which are rich people, come on now, they pour money into the Democrat Party, which is kind of stupid in this whole scheme of things. Here it is, you got the Democrat Party that is anti-Semitic and going against Jewish people, but yet Jewish people pour money into the Democrat Party. It's an oxymoron. It doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like black people knowing good and well that the Democrat Party enslaved black people, but black people still turn around and vote and support these Democrats. Oxymoron. Anybody understand that, or is it just Will Johnson?
Protesting
is very clear.
There's a history. There's a difference between protesting and and saying and doing anti-Semitic things. Would you not agree?
Ilhan Omar's rhetoric as it pertains to Jewish people in the state of Israel is deplorable and disgusting. She shouldn't even be in Congress, in my opinion. And them showing up on those college campuses is a green light for the most vicious, disgusting, despicable rhetoric against Jewish students and against Jewish people. You can absolutely draw a correlation. And to pretend that they were on the college campuses and saying kumbaya is to just be naive.
100%, 100%. And let me say this really quick. And Filter Dog, thank you so much for the goat pills. Filter Dog says they are not all Israel, which are of Israel, neither because they are the seeds of Abraham, they are all children, right? In Romans 9:6-7. Yeah, because have you ever seen those black Israelites? You ever heard of the Satanist synagogue, the synagogue of Satan? Have you seen those black Israelites? I encourage everybody right now, if you have another computer, another way of watching this, go to a tab and type in black Israelites, type it in just like this. White people kissing the boots of black Israelites. That will show you the synagogue of Satan. Okay. But thank you so much for the red pills. Thank you so much. And then was that sub pack says this on pill.net. There are bad apples in every religion, every creed, every class without exceptions. 100%. Thank you. That's exactly my point. There's bad apples in everything, in every religion. Yes, every creed, every background, there's bad apples no matter what. So should we hold it against everybody in that religion, everybody in that creed? Everybody that's white, everybody that's black, should we hold it against all of them? No. Thank you. People understand. People get it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. And then Greenbeard, thank you so much for the Demon Crack Can. Thank you for contributing to the Demon Crack Can on pill.net. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
And well, I just want to say something.
Sure.
I don't know if you remember this or people remember this, but Ilhan Omar, they didn't do it from afar, Will. They actually were on campuses. I've seen them. They were on the campuses while Republicans were there saying, bashing them for the protests. I remember seeing Byron Donalds going to protest saying, you guys shouldn't be here. This is more than anti-protest.
Yep.
This is pure anti-Semitism.
Yep.
Ilhan Omar's daughter, I'm going to bring this up real quick.
Yep.
She literally got kicked out of college for being at a pro-Palestinian protest that got violent.
Sure did.
She got arrested and suspended.
Sure did.
At Columbia, which is one of the colleges
and her
now.
mommy being a congresswoman,
Yep.
Do you think she could have said, look, I don't need for you to do this?
Nope. She was proud of her daughter.
Yeah, she was proud of her.
they were talking about how she had to go home and all these things, but Ilhan Omar was proud of her daughter.
Yeah, and that's when Fire Marshal Bowman was there. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So these people, here's evidence if Abby doesn't want to see it, but just because you're standing at a protest being silent doesn't mean that you're not anti-Semitic. That's basically what she's saying.
Yeah.
She's saying,
well, she's saying that she wasn't verbally abusing people,
anything.
going to the library, going to class. She wasn't trying to physically assault them like others were. So you can't really lump her in there.
Absolutely.
But do you remember what I said earlier, Shannon? Do you remember that when Nancy Pelosi had Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar sign that thing saying that they are no longer going to say anything because they were actually trying to create policies that would be deliberately against our biggest ally in the region of the world.
Right. And literally there was, I can't believe that Abby and them don't remember this, but there was this whole thing saying Nancy Pelosi and them were like, I can't believe that we have people being anti-Semitic in our party. Israel is our ally. It's our greatest ally. You remember Pelosi coming to the podium talking about that. And then she tried to, like you said, after she had the conversation, she came out and said, well, we don't have that stain of anti-Semitism in our party anymore. That they took care of it, that it's done. That we all support Israel, and it diplomatically.
It's still there. It's still there. They're lying. Well, here's one I have for you with Scott Jennings. And they're talking about this whole thing. And of course, the radical left, they don't want to acknowledge that they're the ones doing it. You know, there's this whole discussion about who's violent and who's not violent. Did you know that the radical left, they're trying to say that, well, you know, those on the right, they're just as violent. Really? Really? I don't think so. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. But listen to this. Listen to this about these people.
Well, I mean, this is horrific. And what more do we need to see, Jake, before we realize this Free Palestine movement is nothing more than a domestic terror organization right now? I mean, we had the killings in Washington a couple of weeks ago. We have this issue in Colorado. We've seen, the activities on college campuses now for months and months and months and months. The rise of anti-Semitism in America, the rise in the number of people who have come to America who hold anti-American views, anti-Western views, and anti-Semitic views, and are now willing to act on it. It is absolutely outrageous. And I think as a society, we need to understand we are dealing with domestic terrorism. It's growing more violent by the day. And if we don't deal with it, these kinds of things are going to keep happening in cities all over the place. It's awful. And we need to come to grips with the fight that we're in right now in America, a fight for the future of our country and the future of Western civilization, in my opinion.
You know, that's 100% true. When these people are out there screaming from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Have y'all noticed that like some violent act has taken place afterwards? For example, in DC, what happened to the two people in DC? And the guy was screaming, Palestine will be free. What happened to them? You notice that the liberal media, they don't even want to talk about it. Like, well, that's just one episode. But you know what they're quick to talk about? Instead of them talking about this radical dude taking the life of two innocent people at DC at a event for Jewish people, you know what they're saying? You know what they're saying? Oh, we have an epidemic in gun violence in the country. We need to do more restrictive gun control. We need to take the guns out of all of these innocent American men and women that don't commit any crimes. So then that way, I'm adding all this part, of course, you can tell. And so that way, that all of the criminals, they will be able to continue and they will be able to do more. Because that's ultimately what will happen. That's exactly what will happen. And have you ever looked at the history of every nation in the past throughout the entire world where they went in and they disarmed the population? What happened to the people? Come on now. And the same mindset, the same spirit is trying to do the same thing here in America. But nonetheless, to get back to it, you have two people in DC about to get married, and they don't want to talk about the reason why that happened. You had college students trying to go to the library, trying to go to class, and they're getting physically and verbally abused, but they don't want to talk about why that's happening. They want to call it free speech. They want to avoid what's actually happening and who's actually doing it. It is the Democrats that's doing it. Let me ask y'all a question, and I do look in the chat. That's how I saw this one earlier. And Greenbeard, I'm happy to be on Red Pill or Red Pill, Pill.net as well. Thank you so much. So let me ask you a question. Who created this anti-Semitism? Was it President Trump? See, now when just like clockwork on everything else, you got the Democrats. They don't want to take responsibility for them creating a certain situation in the country. So what do? They deflect and they start saying it's President Donald Trump. He's the one that did this. He's empowering people to do this. He caused this. It's all Trump. Always Trump. How come Democrats can't take responsibility for themselves? It's the same thing, like I mentioned earlier, with slavery in this country. It was the Democrat Party. It still is the Democrat Party, and I can prove it. It's still the same, because the same Democrat Party then is doing the same thing today. Shall I say it? Do you want me to prove it? I can prove it to you. Let me know in the comments. If you want me to say it, just say it. Just say it. I'll look in the comments. But listen to this. You want me to say it, Shannon? You want me to say it? I'm going to say it. I'll say it before we play it. During slavery, when Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, what did the racist white Democrats say? What did they say? You ready for it? And this is going to bring you right to today. Well, who's going to pick our crops? Who's going to do the jobs that we don't want to do? Does any of this sound familiar to you? Here's a hint. Conservatives are not saying it. Republicans are not saying it. The MAGA extremists, they're not saying it. Only one party is saying who's going to pick our crops, who's going to do the jobs that we don't want to do. Who's saying it? It is called slave labor. And they go, well, they're getting paid. It's not slavery. They're getting paid. Did you know that a lot of them get paid under the table so they don't have to pay a minimum wage? What would you call that? What would you call that? Have you never heard of slave labor? Stupid liberals. Liberals are the most racist people on the planet. Liberalism is not just in the United States of America. Liberalism exists everywhere because liberalism is a spirit. It's an evil, demonic spirit from the pits of hell. Everything that they're about, everything that they do is not for the good of humanity, as they like to say it. It's not. Look at what they're doing. Don't get me started on the children. Oh, my goodness. But listen to this. Here it is on the Communist News Network, and she's trying to say that, well, the reason why we have anti-Semitic in this country and the rhetoric and the discussion is because of Trump. Like a good typical liberal. And why is it always the white female liberal?
We also have to acknowledge, Abby, that the rise of anti-Semitism in the last decade can be correlated with the rise of Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
And the kind of language that he gives a permission slip for all of this anti-Semitic language to be used, in a way that we really hadn't seen before.
Really? So she's saying it's because of the rise of Trump. You know what? She might, I take it back, Shannon. She might be onto something. Because, see, President Trump, what did he do? He moved the U.S. Embassy to Israel. Did you know that? President Trump, his first term, he was nominated for 7 Nobel Peace Prizes for his peace talks in the Middle East, the Abraham Accords. Did you know that? President Trump, because of his actions and because of what he did and showed his support for conservative Jewish people, not the liberals. Come on, people. Come on, let's get on board. Understand, not the liberals, but the conservative Jewish people. President Trump was supporting them. And guess what? They named locations in Israel after President Trump. Come on. A lot of people don't know this. They just got this hatred. They got this anti-Semitic thing going on. And I can't tell you how many times I get people, you can take it off the screen. I can't tell you how many times I get people sending me messages. Will Johnson, do you know how Israelis feel about black people? And I go, actually, I do. But why don't you tell me, how do you think they feel about black people? Black people and Christians on top of that. Black people and Christians. how Israelis feel about black people and Christians. And I said, why don't you fill me in? Give me some details here. They don't like black people, Will Johnson. And they most definitely don't like Christians. And you know what? See, that's that ignorance I'm constantly talking about. That's that right down stupidity, ignorance. If you ever get the opportunity to go to Israel and you got this mindset, when you get there, you're going to have a rude awakening. Did you know that there's people that are Israelites that are a lot darker than I am? Did you know that, Shannon? Did you know that there's Israelites that are Muslim customs? Did you know that? Did you know that? There's people that consider themselves Israelites and they pray towards Mecca 3 times a day. They're in the Israeli military. This whole notion that people have been trying to say that Israel is a certain way, you got to believe this. People are naive. They only believe what they say because they're stuck in this bubble. And I think maybe, just maybe, that I have a different outlook on a lot of things because I had the opportunity as a kid to live outside of the United States of America. I got outside the bubble. A lot of people never experienced anything outside of their bubble. So they believe that whatever the bubble walls show them, they believe that's all that there is. Kind of like, the flat earthers. They don't believe that there's space. Even though you look up and you see space, they believe there's a bubble and they only believe what's on the bubble walls. And it's a projection. And I'm like, where's the projector at? But that's a whole different discussion. You and I mentioned this before, it's like we're living in this movie. We're part of this movie. Action-packed movie, drama. All of this stuff happening. All of this stuff happening. Let me share this one for you really quick, and then I got something I want to share with you. Look at this. This on the Communist News Network. And of course, they're going back and forth about all of this.
The problem is not enough Democrats did that last year when these college protests were rampant. They made the excuse that it was all free speech. They made the excuse that people had the freedom to assemble under the First Amendment, when many Americans, many Republicans, and even some Jewish Americans, Jewish students were saying this is going to lead to violence. Well, the chickens have come home to roost. And while there are some Democrats, congressmen, who have indeed come out against anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist rhetoric, there are a whole lot who have not said a single word, in part because they were so interested in wanting to make sure that they had those votes last year, which it didn't pan out for them to get away with.
You see that? And it's true. There are some. You know, one person that's actually come out that completely took me for surprise? Do you know who that is, Shannon? One person, one Democrat that completely took me surprise that's not going along with all the hate.
Fetterman.
John Fetterman. I mean, like, come on,
right?
people.
Like, who would have guessed?
Yeah.
Fetterman, right?
Fetterman of all people. I'm like, this dude, you know, there's a couple times the light bulb comes on, but the light bulb goes off. But John Fetterman, he's like, look, y'all, what are you doing? I'm like, John Fetterman. Wow. Hey, let's talk about this Rumble studio really quick. Rumble.com. Y'all heard about Rumble?
That's right, Will. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built a platform that was for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and created all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on COVID, but they did. Facebook admitted that they fell to the pressure of the Biden and Harris administration, but Rumble did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. So ridiculous. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive, though, with brand advertisers like Facebook and YouTube do. They don't get much of it. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you. But if you really believe to fight And if you have the means, one major way that you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in First Amendment and believes our human right is free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO. Like I said, if you have the means and you guys are ready and able to help, please do. Go to rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO.
Yes. All right. Let me say thank you to John for the super chat on YouTube. John, thank you so much. He said, enjoy some Tex-Mex for lunch. Thank you so much for that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tex-Mex, we'll do it.
Yeah. I can give me a taco.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to get a taco. Have y'all noticed what
it's Taco Tuesday, Will?
Oh, it is Taco Tuesday. Oh, so you know what? I need to go get me a taco,
right?
And talk about President Trump. How the left keeps referring to him as taco, and it's so lame.
But did you see how that faded
It's so
away?
stupid. No, they're still doing it on X.
Really?
They're still, yeah. And I put a post on there last night. I said, has anyone else noticed how the left is still trying to push the whole taco thing, and the taco thing never even went anywhere? They don't have anything. They have nothing to stand on. They have absolutely nothing to go with. So what do? They make up something like, oh, the taco, right? Y'all know what it means, right? Okay. But anyways, Scott Jennings, he goes on with this lady. I guess her name is Tara. Is that her name? He goes on with this lady, and she's a total liberal. And Scott Jennings tells the truth about who the violent ones are and where most of the violence comes from. And we already know that most of the violence comes from those on the left. You remember the Summer of Love? Who did that? Who did the Summer of Love? The entire summer. Buildings, vehicles, just on fire, ablaze. It didn't even matter. If they just suspected that they didn't even suspect anything. They just saw a vehicle, they put it on fire. Summer of Love, y'all remember? And then over in the northwest of the country, I think it was like Portland and probably some in Seattle, they had these encampments where they were locking the city down. They wouldn't even let police officers go in there. Y'all remember that? And they were like this taking over. Who did that? And then you have Elon Musk with Tesla. They were burning up Teslas because Elon Musk was just a messenger. And all he was doing is saying, look, Mr. President, we found this waste and fraud. We found this. We found that. We found this department, this organization. What do you want to do, President Trump? And President Trump says, okay, I'll take it from here. Hands it over to Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio shuts it down. But they're upset with Elon Musk because all he did was show it. He exposed it. The radical, stupid, Democrat liberals, they go, but Elon Musk is firing people. He does not have the authority to fire anybody. All he has is read-only access to the systems, and then he turns it over and hands it over in the report to President Trump, and President Trump's cabinet has the authority to fire and hire people. And that's exactly what happened. But the radical Democrats, they want to, both Republicans and the left, they're violent. They're violent. And of course, she brings up J6. Really? But she ignores the Summer of Love. She ignores what they did to people walking around with a MAGA hat on. You know, I have MAGA hats on my website. Actually, I need to update them. But I have MAGA hats on my website. And I remember some people like, well, Will Johnson, I don't know if I love the hats, but I don't know if I can wear the hat because I'm so concerned about these radical leftist lunatics attacking me. Of course, they didn't say radical leftist lunatics. I got that from President Trump. But they're concerned about them getting attacked. They're concerned about it. By who? If you see someone with a Biden hat on or a Democrat hat on from one of the Democrats, you don't ever hear about any of them getting attacked. You don't ever hear about any of them going into a restaurant and getting extra special sauce or secret sauce in their food. You don't ever hear about it because most conservatives and Christians, they don't care who you support. They just want you to leave them alone and let them live their lives. Have you ever heard of a radical leftist lunatic working on a job, and you find out that they are a leftist, or anybody find out that they're a leftist, and they go there and purposely try to get them fired because they find out that they are leftists. Have you ever heard of it? It doesn't happen. Now, do they act out and do certain things on their own? Sure. But if they find out that you're a conservative Trump supporter, and they find out where your place of employment, what do they want to do? They want to go to your place of employment, harass them until they fire you. It doesn't happen the other way around.
The left has a problem with violence. It is in its heart right now.
I don't think it is only the left. I mean, you have literally seen people on both sides committing violence. I think the problem is not the left. I think it is the extremes on both.
No. He's right. The problem is the left. The problem is the left. I wish Scott Jennings would say, well, can you denounce what they're doing on the college campuses? Can you say that? Who's doing that? Is it the left or is it the right doing it?
Both sides of the party. And that is what's happening. Like they're the loudest voices, whether the leaders want them or not. And they're the ones who tend to be the most violent. I don't think that's fair to say it's only the left. I mean,
but why is it happening? Why do late night comedians go on TV and encourage or coddle or give lip service to this vandalism of what went on with Tesla dealerships and so on? Why are there so many prominent people?
People didn't get hurt.
I totally get why Luigi
died on
January 6th. Why? I don't understand.
Listen, I'm not for vandalism, but like
it's more than that. They firebomb these things. Like it's
dangerous, but it's happening on both sides.
What?
No, it's not. There's no conservatives firebombing anybody's vehicle. It's not happening. It didn't happen when Obama went in office. It didn't happen when Joe Biden went in office. It didn't happen when Billy Clinton went in office. The only time it happened is when President Trump, that I'm aware of, I don't know that it even happened when Bush went into office with the radical lunatic liberals. I don't even know if it happened then. But I do know when President Trump went into office the very first time, the very next day, what did they do? Actually, they were rioting. Yeah, the very next day, they were rioting in the streets. And they don't want to talk about that. Have y'all not seen the footage? Oh my goodness, in DC, they were destroying vehicles the very next day. President Trump hadn't even done anything yet.
What person on the right is committing violence today?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, when you're in power, you don't tend to be the ones that are doing that. But I think after they lost the election in 2020, there was a mob and a person died. And it was a riot at the Capitol. It was crazy.
It was a terrible day, and it should not have happened.
It was a horrible day.
And let me just check my calendar, and it was 5.5 years ago.
Can we also talk about the fact that someone broke into Nancy Pelosi's house and violently beat up her husband?
Oh, hold up, wait a minute. Let's put some facts in it. And I wish Scott Jennings, apparently Scott Jennings didn't know much about this dude that went into Nancy Pelosi's home, and he did not break in. If he broke in, then why did he, when Nancy Pelosi's husband opened up the door, and this is the way I understand it, because apparently the guy left and came back. And then when Nancy Pelosi's husband opened the door, he backed up to where the guy was, and the guy hammered him.
Well, the story was that he did break in the back patio door.
Yeah, but originally they said he was there, but originally he did not break in. But I guess correct. Yeah, I correct myself. The second time he did break in. But they said originally he did not break in. Right? But this guy that got hammered, that was hammering Nancy Pelosi's husband, he was a total leftist. When they found out the trailer, the mobile home that he was living in, he had BLM paraphernalia. He had the Elemental P community paraphernalia. He had all of this anti-American stuff inside of this vehicle that he was living in. What, they think that the CIA just planted it for him? Really? If the CIA was just going to plant something, then they would put all Trump stuff in there, but they didn't do that. He had all of this wokeism in that vehicle. So it had nothing to do with those on the right. He was a leftist.
Saying that homeless drug addict is a conservative?
Thank you.
Well, I mean, why do you think she was targeted?
Why do I think a crazy, literal crazy homeless person in San Francisco did something, I couldn't begin to tell you, but I know it's this. They weren't coming to the Republican Party.
Both sides have faced assassination attempts. This is a thing that is not just, it's not just a singular party thing. And
really, when did that happen? The grazing of the ear, or even coming close, happened to Obama, or Joe Biden, or Billy Clinton?
And the Republicans' baseball game.
Republican baseball game.
They're
hello.
Saying that was targeted.
Ronald Reagan. Hello.
Yeah.
President Trump. Hello. Abraham Lincoln. Hello.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Hello. All of the people that they've been trying to assassinate have been Republican. The Democrat Party, they are the party of Satan. And the reason why she doesn't see any violence taking place, because she's part of it. Democrats can't acknowledge the truth. Democrats can't see it. She doesn't want to see it. She just want to believe, well, Democrats, we're just all loving. We're all loving. We all care for each other. We love humanity. They're evil. And they do what Satan wants them to do. They deceive people. Joe, let me say thank you to Joe for the Rumble rant. Wow. Thank you so much, Joe. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wow, Shannon. They bless us on peel.net. They bless us on YouTube, and they bless us on Rumble.
Oh man.
Wow.
We're so grateful.
You know what? Really. And some people look at it, well, that's not, you know what? I see that. I see blessings. I see blessings when people bless me that way. No matter, and some people go, well, one person, let me just tell the story like this. One person, when I was able to get Facebook stars before Facebook completely demonetized my page because of what the hackers did, not because I've done anything wrong. People used to give me Facebook stars, and one person gave me like 35 Facebook stars, and each Facebook stars consists of a penny. And they said, I'm sorry, I can't give you more. And I said, are you kidding me? I said, this is a blessing. I never, ever not look at a blessing for it being a blessing. It's always a blessing. Every single time. Who am I to ask for people for, X amount? Now, unless it comes for like a total amount, I put like my gifts in Go for my AC. Can we show that really quick before I go to this next thing? Since we're talking about this. So my AC in my studio went out, and I don't know, I'm not an AC guy, plumber, any of that. And I can do a little plumbing around the house. I've changed the faucet out, believe it or not. I know how to work a computer too. But I have a gifts. My producer created giftsandgo.com/fix my AC to help me get my AC fixed. And look at the blessings. Can y'all see it? People have blessed me to help me get my AC fixed. Look at this. Oh my goodness. And we're almost halfway there. See, now this is where I put down there the total amount. And if for everyone who's ever had to get their AC fixed, to get a compressor fixed, they can be expensive because you got to pay for the labor, you got to pay for the part, and everything else they can stick you with because they can, right? Hey, do you want to live in Texas heat, or do you need AC? And it is what it is. This is the reason why we put it up there. Because other than that, I don't ever ask people to support me like this. I don't. But I need help is the only reason why I'm asking. I really, truly need help. I mean, it's kind of almost desperate here. And this is the reason why I have it on here. But look, people have blessed me about halfway there. About halfway there. What an amazing blessing it is. So if
we're thankful for lunch too.
Oh, hey, don't get me wrong.
Hey, listen.
Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for the lunch as well. 100%. Okay, let me play something else. Before you bring it up here, Shannon, let me just kind of lead into this just a little bit because we're going to run out of time. We have people in the law industry, and in this case, ICE members, that are actually doing their jobs. The past 4 years before President Trump came into office, you had a lot of ICE members complaining because they were not able to do their jobs. And of course, those ICE members that says anything publicly about them not being able to do their jobs, all of a sudden you didn't hear nothing from them ever again, because the radical lunatic liberals in the Biden administration made sure they removed them because they didn't want that type of information going out. Well, now President Trump is back in office. President Trump is securing our border. President Trump is bringing law and order. And of course, the Democrats don't like it. And then you have these ICE members that are out there doing their jobs, finally. And because they're doing their jobs, the radical leftist lunatics want to unmask them. They want them unmasked. So why would they want them unmasked? Why do they have it in their minds to want to unmask these ICE agents? Now, before, remember when Joe Biden first went into office, they were trying to force everybody to wear a mask, but now all of a sudden they have an issue with people wearing a mask. Make it make sense. Do you want us to wear one or do you not want us to wear one? And if we're wearing one, then shut up, right? Because all these radical leftist lunatics that was drinking the Kool-Aid, they were happy for everybody to wear a mask. But see, the reason why they want these ICE agents not to wear a mask, so they can find out where they live, they can find out information about their families. And what are they going to do after they do that? But this is the left that's not violent, though, right? This is the left that's not violent. Watch this. You go full screen to it when you bring it up, Shannon. Watch this.
We're just upset about the masks, or is anyone upset with the fact that ICE officers' families were labeled terrorists?
It's about the identification, sir, because some of these agents don't have labels that say who they're with.
Wow. Did you see that? Let me take it back. It's a short clip. I love this clip. Listen.
Their faces and posting them online with death threats to their family and themselves. So I'm sorry if people are offended by them wearing masks, but I'm not going to let my officers and agents go out there and put their lives on the line and their family on the line because people don't like what immigration enforcement is. They are wearing those masks because we ran an operation with the Secret Service where we arrested someone that was going online, taking their photos, posting their families, their kids' Instagram, their kids' Facebooks.
Wow.
And targeting them. So let me ask, is that the issue here, that we're just upset about the masks? Or is anyone upset with the fact that ICE officers' families were labeled terrorists?
It's about the identification, sir, because some of these agents don't have labels that say who they're with.
What do you mean it's the identification? If you have ICE agents apprehending people that are in the country that are criminals, Tres de Agua, MS-13 criminals, you want to know if they're actually ICE agents. We want to know who they are. They're wanting to dox them. I didn't even know that they were actually finding out these ICE agents' families and their children on Instagram and harassing them like this. Come on.
Yeah.
And then you have the stupid press in there saying it's not about them being harassed. It's about their identity, saying who they are.
You don't need to know who they are.
No, you don't. You know, it's not just random American citizens. Look, if that's the case, look, I want you to try this, radical leftist lunatics. I want you to try this. Try this for me. Go ahead and put on the same gear that they have on. Go and find you the hardcore MAGA Republican and pick that person up and take him to an ICE facility. Because this is what you're alluding to. This is people in the press. They're even suggesting this is what's happening, that they're just random people that's putting on the uniform, going and picking up random people on the streets of America, even American citizens, taking them to an ICE detention facility to have them deported. Why don't you do the same thing? Prove us wrong, right? I would love to see it. By all means, and make sure you put it all on camera. Come on. Put up or shut up. How many people you think will end up going to jail for impersonating an ICE member, Shannon? How many?
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
I encourage you. Pick them up and take them there. I encourage you. Do it. Let's find it. Wow. Let me say this really quick. Filter Dog. Wow. Thank you so much. And then Subpack Vet, thank you so much for the gold pills. Wow. I mean, y'all are like, the Rumble rants coming through, the super chat coming through. And I have to tell y'all right now on Rumble and on YouTube, I'm not going to say the amount or anything, okay? I'm just going to say on peel.net, wow. Okay? Because I don't want to go like, well, this person gave this much and that. And I'm not doing that at all, because every single penny is a blessing. But I'm just saying, peel.net, they kind of. Can I say that much? That's not bad for me to say that much, is it? Right? It's not bad. Well, let me say this. As far as the thumbs up, okay, more people. Come on, Rumble. Come on, Rumble. Where y'all at? Y'all should be smashing that thumbs up on Rumble. YouTube is beating y'all out on Rumble on the thumbs up. YouTube is beating y'all. Come on. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. All right. How much time do we have? We have a couple minutes here. And there was one. Oh, let me talk about this really quick before we get out of here. This was so yesterday. You remember yesterday I was talking about what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, and how I believe that we're living in the last days, and how they don't talk about the earthquakes and and the famine and the pestilence and the wars and rumors of wars, because that's what I called it yesterday, wars and rumors of wars. Well, when we got done yesterday, I saw this happen. This, if I'm not mistaken, is in Italy, right? Can you bring it up for me, Shannon? If I'm not mistaken, this was in Italy. And look at this. These people, they're running for their lives. This is happening. Now, of course, we've had stuff like this happen all the time, Will Johnson, on the planet. My point is all these things are happening at the same time.
It's cool when somebody catches it, though, and you can see it.
Oh, it's horrifying, terrifying, and beautiful, exciting at the same time. It's really weird, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I pray none of those people got hurt.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the person with the camera and all these people there. So prayers for everyone. Hopefully, no one got in harm's way, that they were able to get out the way. And it was just, they were able to get, to a safe distance. But it's just something to see. And here's another angle. Here's another angle of it. And I don't know if this is the same person, but this was at it from even a further distance from it. So it appears that maybe most people got out of harm's way. And you can see they're down here and they're moving out the way too. Yep, saying go, go, go. Wow. God is real. God is absolutely real. God is real. God is absolutely real. All right, everybody.
Oh, yeah, we got True Social.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that real quick.
Yep, let's do. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Let me tell you about this really quick. Did y'all know I'm on True Social? I don't have the capability right now to go live on True Social, but one day I'm pretty sure they'll open it up. But I am on True Social. If anyone wants to connect with me on True Social, by all means, do so. By all means, do so. My producers are going to tell you something about it right now.
Yeah, if you're looking for a great place for online news, discussion, and entertainment, then you need to check out True Social. It's Trump's social media website. You'll get to breaking news, stories, and commentary from top media figures. If you want to see Trump's legendary True Social posts, then you got to get on True Social today. Join a growing community of patriots on a free speech platform designed to avoid censorship and cancellation of big tech. Make your voice heard. Join the movement. Join Truth Social. And Trump is actually doing a lot of stuff with his True Social. And we know every time we see his posts on X or Facebook, they really are coming from True Social.
Yeah.
So if you want to get that news firsthand, you need to get on Truth Social, follow him, and get Trump's tweets or truths before anybody else.
Get the truth before anybody else. All right, everybody, that is it for me. Thank you so much. God bless all of you. And again, thank you so much for the gold pills, for the Rumble rants, and the super chats. Thank you so much. God bless you all. See you tomorrow.